Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to News Talk with yours truly, Chris Anu, coming to you as usual from the great state of Texas, Houston, Texas, to be precise. Thank you for tuning in from all of Africa by way of satellite television. And for those of you joining by way of the social media, that is Facebook and YouTube, thank you for tuning in. I come to you tonight with news from Douala, from Bamenda, and from the USA, precisely in Kansas, Missouri, where three Amazonian activists were convicted and they are awaiting sentence in a federal court in Kansas, Missouri, last Monday. That is the news I will be bringing to you tonight. So please stay tuned, and of course, I am going to be right back. Do me the favor, hit your share button. Let everybody know that the anchor man is live. All right, I'll be right back.
Target audience like never before. Advertising on ABS, you'll benefit from our extensive reach and dedicated viewership. We offer special advertising packages during primetime slots and popular shows. You'll also be featured on our social media platforms, reaching an even wider audience. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Take your business to the next level.
Are you ready to unlock the power of AI? Mastering AI Tools, a practical guide to ChatGPT and OpenAI, is your ultimate gateway course to harnessing AI in your career or studies. Provided by Pascal Presentations LLC, a trusted name in cutting-edge education, this course empowers you with the skills needed to navigate and utilize AI effectively. Whether you're a professional looking to boost productivity, a student wanting to stay ahead, or an everyday person trying to upgrade your knowledge on this transformative technology, this course gives you hands-on experience and practical tools to make AI work for you. Don't wait for the future. Start mastering it today. Enroll now with Pascal Presentations LLC and take the first step towards transforming your potential with AI.
Ladies and gentlemen, once more, thank you for tuning in. Do me the favor, go ahead and hit your share button. If you are watching by way of Facebook, hit your share button. Let us get the platform populated as usual. And if you are tuned in by way of YouTube, please hit the like and the subscribe button to receive notifications every moment we are live on the ABS. For your information, ABS is running 24/7 in all of Africa by way of satellite. So when we come on the social media, it means we are broadcasting live. And then after the social media, everything that goes on satellite is either a rebroadcast or some special programming. That is why it is important here that you hit the subscribe and the like button so that you do not want to miss any live programming coming to you here from ABS. Now, I take you to this story. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that jingle takes us to Missouri City, Kansas City in the state of Missouri, where three Amazonian activists were convicted last Monday of crimes ranging from money laundering, from kidnapping and ransom taking and conspiracy to support terrorism in Cameroon, in the state of Missouri. Again, they were convicted last Monday by a jury of their peers. And that is the main story that I bring to you today. But before I take you into that story, I'd like to take you to Douala, where today, motorbikes, popularly known as Okada, they took onto the streets. They took onto the streets and barricaded the streets, stopping transport in the major parts of Douala throughout this morning. You can look at that now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, you are looking there at Douala early in the morning, around 11 a.m. this morning, and you see a water cannon scoping around and spraying. The people gathered, trying to disperse everybody with tear gas. In Cameroon, that is the way the government resolve civilian issues, by using force to disperse the people. But let me bring you the narrative of exactly what happened there today. The motorbike taxi driver strike and unrest that erupted today, December 11, 2025, did not occur in isolation. It unfolded against a backdrop of heightened national tensions tied to ongoing post-election protests and transport sector grievances. The strike itself was sparked by a police officer firing at a motorcycle taxi rider in the Deido neighborhood late on the night of December 10, that is late night yesterday, an incident that ignited anger among motor taxi men who already feel targeted and economically constrained in Cameroon's largest city of Douala. The shooting of the Okada rider, widely condemned locally, catalyzed an immediate protest on Thursday, that was today, with many riders parking their bikes on key roads and blockading traffic in areas such as Deido and Bipanda. Authorities struggled to contain the unrest in the early hours. Police in riot units were deployed to clear blockades. Some motorcycles were confiscated and towed from major intersections as clashes between riders and security forces unfolded. Although the protest gradually dissipated by late afternoon, today we are talking about, the immediate grievances of riders have not been fully addressed. The unrest of today must be understood within the broader post-election crisis gripping Cameroon since October 2025, following the contested re-election of Paul Biya. Opposition figures, notably Issa Chiroma Bakari, claimed victory and mobilized sustained protest movements in Douala and the northern regions of Cameroon, including the west. This has led to frequent urban unrest and government attempts to suppress demonstrations ever since. In October, authorities even imposed restrictions on motor taxi circulation in Douala, including a ban on their movement through key areas on certain days, as part of measures aimed at limiting protests and to maintain public order, they said. Despite these efforts, Many motor taxi drivers openly defied the restrictions, underscoring deep resentment towards administrative edicts seen as disconnected from their economic reality. The motorbike taxi strike today also echoes broader transport sector discontent. Just days earlier, truck drivers staged a major strike along Cameroon's primary trade route, complaining of harassment at checkpoints and poor working conditions, a situation that required military intervention to clear blocked roads. Incidents in the transport sectors in Cameroon, including those where drivers felt mistreated by security personnel, highlight a recurring pattern of conflict between authorities and transport workers nationwide. This pattern adds depth to understanding today's strike. Grievances are not only about a single shooting, but reflect frustrations over regulatory pressures, economic precarity, and perceived lack of protection or redress in the face of heavy-handed enforcement. Officials have been caught between maintaining order and acknowledging legitimate discontent. In Douala today, the strike prompted a swift law enforcement response aimed at clearing key roadways and preventing escalation, but also signs of willingness to open dialogue. Local authorities later appealed for calm and suggested they would investigate the shooting incident, signaling awareness that force alone cannot resolve underlying tensions. Just maybe. Meanwhile, communities across Douala and other cities have been affected by the ongoing protests and transport disruptions. Broader economic ramifications, including stagnation of business activity and daily wage losses, have drawn increasing concern. While today's strike concluded on the same day, its reverberations are ongoing. Riders remain frustrated, and the government's response, whether through dialogue or enforcement, now faces greater scrutiny amid a national climate of political tension and protest fatigue. The motor taxi sector's grievances may continue to shape local and national debates on economic inclusion, policing practices, and civic engagement in Cameroon's evolving political landscape. That was what happened in Douala today, ladies and gentlemen. As of now, we are told around late afternoon, the protest was quelled and business was back as usual. Now, when I come back, I will take you to Bamenda, where a press release from the city council says the natural gas plant that was launched for 6 billion CFA is finally going to open tomorrow, December 12th, to sell gas for the first time in 8 months, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in 8 months to citizens. The national gas plant opening tomorrow to sell gas for the first time in 8 months to citizens. So please stay tuned. I'm going to be right back.
Are you ready to unlock the power of AI? Mastering AI Tools, a practical guide to ChatGPT and OpenAI, is your ultimate gateway course to harnessing AI in your career or studies. Provided by Pascal Presentations LLC, a trusted name in cutting-edge education, this course empowers you with the skills needed to navigate and utilize AI effectively. Whether you're a professional looking to boost productivity, a student wanting to stay ahead, or an everyday person trying to upgrade your knowledge on this transformative technology, this course gives you hands-on experience and practical tools to make AI work for you. Don't wait for the future. Start mastering it today. Enroll now with Pascal Presentations LLC and take the first step towards transforming your potential with AI.
Support ABS Africa TV, empower African voices, and change the narrative. For far too long, Africa's stories have been told by others, through lenses tinted by the agendas of legacy media, often funded by Western interests. These narratives have painted a skewed picture of a continent brimming with resilience, innovation, and untold potential. But now it's time for change. It's time for Africans to tell their own stories. At Africa Broadcasting Service (ABS), we are on a mission to redefine how Africa is reported. But this mission is not something we can achieve alone. We urgently need your help. Our vision is clear: to hire and train a new generation of community reporters and citizen journalists who will capture the pulse of Africa, reporting on the issues that matter most, from human rights and good governance to climate change and environmental justice. Armed with nothing more than smartphones and their untamed determination, these reporters will uncover the stories that legacy media too often ignore. We need to provide training and equipment to these storytellers so they can report on Africa as it truly is. We cannot do it without you. Your donation, whether big or small, will help us give Africa's unsung heroes the voice they deserve. Together, we can disrupt the old narratives, challenge stereotypes, and paint a truer, richer picture of Africa. This is more than just supporting journalism. It's about empowering a continent. It's about justice. It's about truth. Together, let's tell Africa's story. Please join our GoFundMe and donate now.
All right, you are looking on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, the launching in May, precisely May 9, 2025, of the natural liquefied gas plant in Bamenda, inaugurated by the Minister of Energy then. That was 8 months ago. Then the population was told they can buy gas at a cheaper rate of 6,000 CFA francs a bottle. But since the inauguration 8 months ago, not a bottle of gas, ladies and gentlemen, has come out of that plant. Yet it was inaugurated with fanfare, all the fanfare that you can imagine. Of course, at the time, many people thought it was about re-electing Paul Biya, and it turned out to be true. Because how do you launch a liquefied gas plant to pump out gas for domestic consumption, and then 8 months after, nothing is there to show for it? But this is now important because yesterday the city mayor of Bamenda issued a statement informing, asking residents to come by tomorrow. That is December the 12th. Exactly tomorrow, Friday, December the 12th. He came out, issued a statement asking residents to come out for the first time tomorrow, Friday, December the 12th, to buy some gas. Let me give you that narrative as I have here with all the questions that everybody should be asking. The Bamenda One Council has issued a public announcement inviting residents to what it calls the Open Door Day. The Open Door Day of the Bamenda Liquefied Gas Filling Station. According to the release, the exercise is scheduled for tomorrow, December 12th, Friday, December 12th at 9 a.m. in Ntafubo. On this occasion, gas will be sold for 5,000 francs a bottle. Again, gas will be sold for 5,000 francs a bottle for those who bring bottles, and 30,000 francs, 30,000 francs for those who do not come with gas bottles and we need to purchase bottles right at the scene. The local council emphasizes transparency, trust, and community engagement as goals of this initiative. While the announcement sounds positive on the surface, especially given the attractive 5,000 francs, 5,000 francs price point, its wording, the wording of the statement raises more questions than answers. The first and most glaring question is simple. Why did it take this long? Why did it take this long for this government-constructed filling station to actually begin selling gas? Why did it take this long? This plan, ladies and gentlemen, was first launched with great fanfare on May 9. Its inauguration was followed by promises of easing the burden of gas shortages and stabilizing prices in Bamenda and beyond. Yet, after the ribbon was cut and cameras left, the plant went silent. Weeks turned to months with no operational activity. Residents continued trekking long distances or paying inflated gas prices, while the multi-million franc facility remained dormant. Suddenly, a one-day open door sale is announced. Can you imagine that? 8 months later. The phrasing of the statement from the city council seems to underline an uncertainty. The council does not say that the plan will open on December 12th, that is tomorrow. Now, mark my words. The statement does not say the gas plan is opening on December 12th, which is Friday, which is tomorrow, the day it is asking people to come and buy gas. The statement does not say operations will begin. Understand the language and the tenses here, ladies and gentlemen. It does not say the operations will begin or that gas distribution will commence. Instead, the statement speaks specifically of an open day like a one-day affair, a one-day business, during which gas will be sold. This leaves the public wondering whether this is the start of continuous service or simply a controlled symbolic one-time exercise to give the impression of activity. Even the pricing, commendable as it is, raises eyebrows. A 5,000 francs refuel is far below the previously announced 6,000 francs rate for the same product. It is a relief, yes, but how long will this subsidized price last? That's another question. Is this a promotional price for the open door event or open door day, or will the plan maintain this affordability in the weeks and months ahead? Without clear assurances, the public fears that tomorrow may only serve as another public relations showpiece with temporary benefits. Most importantly, what happens after the open day event, that is tomorrow? Will residents be able to go back to the plant on December 13 or 14 or 15 to refill or buy more gas? Will the facility operate daily like every other gas depot? Or will the gates close again, leaving Bamenda residents with the same old shortages and high costs? And besides, ladies and gentlemen, how about the 1,000 personnel, the 1,000 jobs the plant was supposed to create? What happened to it? We've not heard anything about it. And that is it coming from Bamenda, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to take a brief break out, and when I come back, I will take you to Kansas City, Missouri, on the story of the day. So please stay tuned. Do not touch your remote. I'm going to be right back.
Are you ready to unlock the power of AI? Mastering AI Tools, a practical guide to ChatGPT and OpenAI, is your ultimate gateway course to harnessing AI in your career or studies. Provided by Pascal Presentations LLC, a trusted name in cutting-edge education, this course empowers you with the skills needed to navigate and utilize AI effectively. Whether you're a professional looking to boost productivity, a student wanting to stay ahead, or an everyday person trying to upgrade your knowledge on this transformative technology, this course gives you hands-on experience and practical tools to make AI work for you. Don't wait for the future. Start mastering it today. Enroll now with Pascal Presentations LLC and take the first step towards transforming your potential with AI.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for staying put. At this moment, I will take you to the story of the day. The story of the day, the story of the Kansas City convictions, ladies and gentlemen. And I pay a lot of importance to this story for what it means, for what it stands for. And for that reason, I will be coming back. I will be coming back with a second monologue after this one. That is after I would have spoken to my panel here present to talk about that story. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. The U.S. government's years-long investigation into a Cameroonian-American network accused of financing separatist violence in Cameroon has come full circle, finally, moving from high-profile indictments in 2022 to sweeping convictions last Monday, I mean to say. What began as a probe into ransom-driven kidnappings and the funding of improvised explosive devices, IEDs, has now resulted in guilty verdicts for 2 men and a guilty plea from a third, all U.S. citizens of Cameroonian or Amazonian origin. The case, investigated by the FBI and prosecuted by the U.S. Department of Justice, centers on allegations that the defendants funneled money, equipment, and strategic direction to liberation fighters operating in Cameroon's northwest region. Funds which the prosecutors say went towards kidnappings, IED construction, RPG development, and attacks targeting Cameroonian government forces and civilians. The conspiracy case began in 2022, November 2022. On November 28 to be precise, that year, 2022, federal authorities unsealed a 4-count indictment charging Claude Chi of Missouri, Francis Cheney of Minnesota, and Ernesto Langme of New York with conspiring to support a militant wing of the Ambazonia Revolutionary Movement, which they called the Restoration Forces. According to the indictment, beginning January 2018, the 3 men held senior roles in an organization which they say directed and supported armed separatist groups in Cameroon. Prosecutors allege that more than $350,000 was raised through online platforms from donors in the U.S. and abroad. These funds, they said, were funneled through complex financial and cryptocurrency channels to fighters in Cameroon, that is in Ambazonia. Authorities also accused the men of playing roles in the kidnapping for ransom schemes that targeted civilians in Cameroon, including relatives of U.S. residents who were forced to pay ransom money to secure their release. The indictment linked the three to expenditures related to the kidnappings of the late Cardinal Christian Toomey and traditional ruler Shem Mbinglo of Banso on November 5, 2020. For these actions, each faced material support charges, conspiracy counts related to use of weapons of mass destruction, receiving ransom proceeds, and money laundering. Last Monday, 3 years later, the long-running investigation reached its climax. On December 9, 2025, a federal jury in Kansas City, Missouri, convicted Francis Chenye, popularly known as Frank Chenye, 52 years old, and La Nesto Langmi, 49 years old, on multiple counts relating to providing material support for violent acts in Cameroon and participating in an international money laundering conspiracy, according to the court. A third defendant, Claude Ngenevuchi, pleaded guilty to conspiring to provide material support for the use of weapons of mass destruction abroad. Evidence at trial painted a detailed picture of a coordinated effort to assist fighters with weapons, explosives, and strategic operational guidance. Langmi allegedly directed the kidnapping, according to the court, of a traditional ruler, referring to the fund of Banso, in November 2020, and monitored the ruler's movements before the abduction took place. Chenye, or Frank Chenye, was said to have drafted interrogation questions for the kidnapped traditional ruler and the cardinal, that is Cardinal Christian Toomey. Prosecutors in Missouri presented communications showing the request for funding for IED construction, including a December 2020 plot to plant multiple IEDs to enforce a lockdown ahead of Cameroon elections. Evidence also described attempts to coordinate attacks near the 2021 African Cup of Nations, as well as in various towns across Cameroon's northwest region throughout 2022, the court said. Ransom payments sent by families in the USA for kidnapped relatives in Cameroon were allegedly approved and processed by Frank Chenye. After a trial that began on December 1 this year, 2025, the jury deliberated just over 2 hours, 24 minutes before delivering guilty verdicts to U.S. District Judge Roseanne Ketchmark. As potential sentences under federal law, Frank Chenye and Langmi each face up to 15 years for material support, conspiracies, and up to 20 years for money laundering conspiracy. Claude, faces up to 15 years for providing material support for weapons of mass destruction conspiracy. Sentencing will take place after federal probation prepares the required pre-sentence reports. That is the narrative of what happened, ladies and gentlemen, with the trials. Once they were picked up, they were picked up in November 28, 2022, and I have been able to trace from where they were picked up to the trial and to the verdict. So what is being awaited now is the sentencing. In the U.S., you are not tried, convicted, and sentenced the same day. It takes another process for the sentencing to come up. Now, it is important to note that they have already spent a little over 3 years behind bars. And so any sentencing will consider or take into consideration the number of years they have already spent behind bars. Now, this is only a narrative of what happened. I will be coming to you a little bit later with my personal monologue on this subject. So stay tuned. And while you do so, I'd like to bring in the Honorable Pascal Babbitt, who was helping the legal team of the three to see that their case was well defended in court. Honorable Pascal, there is a lighting above you which is really messing your location. Yeah, turn it off, please. Thank you. I think that is better, even though it's a little dark. If you had that lighting in front of you, it would be better. But that is fine. And while you adjust the lights, ladies and gentlemen, that's better. All right. So let me bring you in, the Honorable Pascal. You followed this case. You work with the legal team of the Kansas 3 throughout the process, the hearing process. Please, we have learned of so many discrepancies that took place in the court. Number one, we learned that they were not allowed to present witnesses, and neither did the government side come up with any witnesses. And yet, they were summarily slammed with convictions that may send them in jail for 15 to 20 years. Give us from your understanding, mingling within the defense team, the picture of what went on, transpired in the courtroom. I think your microphone is muted on your end. Yes.
Oh, can you hear me?
All right.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Go on.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. I'm very excited to be here. And I just want to start by saying that this trial, everyone should be more motivated by the verdict or the outcome of this trial. Everyone should be more energized to continue to fight for the liberation for the people of Southern Cameroon and even La République du Cameroon. So there's no backing down, there's no slowing down, and freedom must prevail. We know very well that on the path to freedom, on the path for liberation, there will be persecution, there will be prosecution, there will be jail, and there will even be death. So these are all expected findings, but you must keep on going and don't slow down. Whatever you are doing, do it 10 times as you have been. At this time, I would suggest you do it 10 times to get people free. So on part of this case, I just want to acknowledge that I'm just here I took upon myself to come here to help the people of Southern Cameroon, to do a personal service to the people of Southern Cameroon, to give them some light and information on what is going on. I personally got into the defense team a little bit way late. I'll say that because this case was not originally in the hands of people like me. And I'm going to break that all down in here for you to understand what is going on in this case. There's a lot of gymnastics going on here. There's a lot of politics. at the national level, at the international level, and even within the Amazonian community. So this the verdict on this trial as a whole is just an entire trial gone wrong on 3 levels. So I just want to acknowledge that I personally was not in the courtroom, but I talked to people who were there on a daily basis and following up on things. So with that said, I will have you give specific question on the things that you want the audience or the people to know, and then I can give you as much response as I can while acknowledging other things.
Sure. So you started by saying a trial gone wrong. Substance share on that.
Very good, very good. See, the trial gone wrong. By the way, what everybody in the world should know, or what everybody, all the people of Southern Cameroon should understand, is that this case is not even supposed to have gone to trial. The case would have been supposed. First of all, the Biden administration was not even supposed to bring this case. It would have been thrown out of the window long time ago, following the precedents of other similar cases that have been brought to other Amazonians. First of all, this case is fundamentally, the outcome of this case is fundamentally a violation of the principle which America was found. Everything America was found on is based on, has a similarity with this case. I'm telling you that the forefathers of America will be rolling on their grave to see that 3 people or some people will be convicted, facing genocide, extermination, mass killing, which is well documented by the US government itself, international organization, and the United Nations. So this trial is a trial gone wrong on 3 levels, and I'm going to break it down right now. If everybody can calm down and absorb the words and the information I'm about to spit out. Number 1, I've said that it violates all the principles which the United States was found. I want people to understand that even Benjamin Franklin in 1776, which was one of the founding fathers of the United States, solicited material support from France, Spain, and Netherlands to fight against the British oppression and the British oppression of the colonies of the United States. And by that standard, he would have been also found guilty by this federal court. I have, on this same point, I want us to understand that the US is a place that I loved. I grew up here all my adult life. But this verdict from at the federal level is an embarrassment for the U.S. federal court, especially at the Missouri district. And I'm asking every politician, all the lawmakers, interest group who seek to preserve the integrity of human rights of the United States and hold the principle which this country was found, to dive into this case and look into it. Just like how they look into Mandela's issue, Muhammad Ali, Martin Luther King, Manhattan Gandhi, and all the freedom fighters in the world that have passed through persecution, prosecution, jail sentences, and even death because they are fighting for freedom and defending people exposed to genocide. Now, go to the second point. I said that this case is wrong in three. This is trial gone wrong in 3 phases. The second phase is that the defense was not adequate for this case. Like you rightfully mentioned, said the judge deliberately did not allow certain evidence to be for the jury to be exposed to. So
evidence such as
the reason why these guys were doing the things, some of the things they're accusing them. You know, you cannot accuse somebody of material support and this and that. Material support for what? What were they fighting for? What were they defending themselves for? That was never really present. Evidence as, for example, in August of this 2024, or not long ago, or this, I just want to give you a recent example of something that happened when they were in jail, but there were many other similar atrocities that we can mention. We're talking about this guy in Gokotunja who was not even a restoration fighter, He was suspected of giving informations against the Cameroon oppressive military. This guy, his hands were tied, and his hands were binded, tied on the back of the car. I'm talking about by a Cameroon military official, and he was dragged alive somewhere in Gokutun, dragged alive and drove for hours until he was screaming for his life. He was dragged around with his arms tied at the back of the car until his death, because they wanted to put fear in the minds of the people, put fear in the minds of kids, and put fear in the minds of any people who are standing up against the corrupt dictator Paul Biya regime. So this is just an example of an atrocity that happened. And we'll talk about the burning of schools, the burning of hospitals across Amazonia, the killing of 6 months old, the killing of 90-year-old blind folks, the mass kidnapping by soldiers who kidnap people for various reasons, to force them to march, to force them to act like voter bloc. All those things were never really allowed to be presented into the case. Now, in all fairness, the judge also, for other reasons, they did not allow this case to be, they did not allow the prosecution to mention terrorism. Earlier in your discussion, Mr. Chris, I heard you mention something about terrorism. I'm sure that was a slip of the tongue, but this case is not about terrorism. They brought specifically hammered at the prosecutors or I think the FBI agents when they were trying to go towards this route about terrorism. So this has zero to do with terrorism. But a lot of things were prevented to enter as evidence. So the jury itself did not really have a good picture about what was going on, you know. And this takes me a little bit, let me make a stretch on this. This takes me...
Before you get there, if I may just ask, how experienced was the lawyer who represented these defendants?
The lawyer had some experience. I think the person who was in charge of following this case for many for all this long time can speak better more on the lawyer. Like I told you, you'll be surprised. I got into this case effectively 4 days into the trial, and I'll explain why down here why it's going that way. And I also bring up some evidence to try to defend them. But this lawyer, from my feedback, I'm sure I heard that they did their best, but with all standards and what is happening here, it can be argued that was not enough. Is it because their hands were tied? Is it because they were not fully paid? Or what was it? Their lawyer may have to come here and do some share with the Amazonian people on that case, because we are also soliciting for her to come and probably give us a 1 or 2 explanation on this. But on this point that I wanted to make about the jury not getting the full picture of what is going on, it reminds me of what happened in South Africa. Secretary Chris, do you know that the people that convicted Mandela, the judge that convicted Mandela, suffered almost all his life? He never had peace after finding exactly what they were doing to the people of South Africa, after understanding the atrocities, that how the treatment that the people were, the oppressed people of South Africa were going through. The judge never lived with himself. The same thing too with Nazi Germany. When the people were prosecuting for Hitler and the Hitler government, a lot of the Nazis never lived to live with themselves after understanding the whole picture of what the people were fighting for against Hitler and Hitler's regime. A lot of them, their sisters, relatives, they took injection and sterilized themselves, never to have children, because they didn't want their offspring to continue based on what their brothers and sisters they had done. We'll talk about like Heinrich Himmler, one of the closest person to Hitler. All his whole family became sterile because of the atrocities that they do. So I'm just saying that this is just the beginning. What is happening here? These boys, they're going to come. They're not going to stay in that jail for all those long years that we are saying this and that, because the truth will come out. Minds will change. The American population, the American judicial system, which is built on auto-correction, will realize what has been done. The good people in the FBI, the good people in the United States federal system will rise up and say, no, this cannot be tolerated. This is not going to happen. That is what I think is going to happen in here. Now, we can come up to this point again, and we can go on and on and on again. But let me give you the third part where this trial also went wrong. And this one has to be on the side of the Amazonian. So I've talked about, just to recap, I've talked about where the trial goes wrong at the start from the US government. I've talked about where it went to the defense level and the court system and the judge. Now, this third part is the responsibility of the people of Southern Cameroon, Amazonia, specifically directed to a name that has brought a lot of pain and disturbance to this liberation movement, Samuel Ikomesako. These three guys, when they were picked up, they were under the fraction of Mr. Samuel Ikomesako. And when that happened, you remember they were picked up in November 28, 2022. Is it November or December?
November 28, 2022.
Yes. Yeah, November 2022. And this was just when Sako had escaped electoral process when he came out with he disrupted the electoral process with the so-called CDC that he accused you. He made you sound like you were the one that took money for CDC. Then the people now forget that there was supposed to be an election, and he turned everything now like there was a prop that they were trying to falsely accuse him this and that just to disrupt an electoral process. So these guys took the side of Samuel Ikomesako, especially Mr. Frank Chanley and Claude G. Langmi was there trying to unite people according to the audios and the record reports that I was reading. But these two guys were hard, staunch supporters of Sako, especially Frank. He was one of his closest, he was very close to him for many reasons, which they themselves can come here and explain for themselves. But it also they will have very close. Now, what happened? Sako, being who he is, he uses their arrest to like a fundraising. I remember Iringwa was also there. They were all chanting, we have to raise money for Cancer 3 and all this kind of stuff. So they grabbed this issue, they grabbed it like it was our thing and isolated many other people from Southern Cameroon and even other people from different countries who wanted to help. So they engulfed it, they used it as fundraising multiple times so it will raise money for their lawyers and all this kind of stuff. So given what Sako was doing and given the positions of these our brothers, people just neglected the whole thing and leave it onto them, thinking that he was competent enough. But as time goes on, even myself, I could have played a role in helping some of these guys, giving my background and some little background in law. So I myself withdrew. So Sako and his group, they took upon this responsibility, create forums, and raise money for their defense. So it was like their thing. And if you try to attempt to raise funds to come and support this guy or something, you were met with boo, they bash you, they attack you, and all those kind of stuff. I remember one time, one of a relative to Langmi went and opened a GoFundMe account, and they came and screenshot the page, wrote it there, that sent it everywhere that it's a scam, somebody trying to scam, all this kind of stuff. So as usual, they did that. So the thing was in their hand. As time goes on, I learned that they tried to raise money, and then different things started to come up. And then he himself, the commander, the so-called wannabe commander-in-chief, or the Sako himself, started discouraging funds to be raised for these guys, because he had other projects that were coming up. Like he wrote another book that he wanted to sell, so you cannot do multiple things at the same time. So long story short, other things were coming up. So it became a time when they couldn't just follow up these people's case with the energy which they started. And the people of Ngokotunja, or the brothers of Ngokotunja who were supporting and helping these guys, they started also having some differences with Sako because they said that they realized that he was trying to sideline money for some purpose for that they raised for a website. I mean, the audio is there. I can't really go deep into all that stuff right now.
I remember the but hold on there. When these guys were initially picked up, there were talks of hiring a lawyer, an attorney to defend them. I remember speaking to Langmi's wife and I think Claude's wife too about hiring a lawyer, and I was made to understand they were trying to get a lawyer for him, and I was trying to introduce to them the lawyer who represented Tapang Ivo in one of these cases. They ended up not hiring him because the price was quite high. Would you say it is because of funds, maybe the lack of funds, that led them to go for the public defender?
Yes, and more.
Okay.
Yes, and more. More to the fact that the division that Samuel Sako caused split the resources of the people who could come together and help these people. We have our brothers in South Africa there and across the world from different fractions that they would at least jump in to increase to the human capital that is needed to fund such a process. So yes, and more, and in addition to that. So I haven't answered that question. Let me just finish this quickly. As the whole process went through, that division with Sako and the people that were holding on to this, who were following up onto this case, increases and widened as usual.
So the last lawyer, the private lawyer, the lady who represented these guys in court during the trial, who hired him? Who hired her?
The lady that represented it was, what do you mean who hired her? It was their fraction that did that.
Okay. Originally.
But going along, people fall off the wagon because of that split, and the whole load now remained on a few people, and to a point where only one person was carrying the load to go forward. Okay, so as unbelievable as this sound, that is where we were. So one person was there trying to coordinate all.
So are you suggesting that of all the contributions given to Sako to get a lawyer to represent these folks, a dime never went to their legal fund?
Not enough went to their legal fund. I won't say a dime never went, but not enough went there. And I think that, Mr. Chris, you're an open-minded person. It's not for my word, but it's evident by the number of people who have come to your platform. They can come here and talk too, right?
Mm-hmm.
He can come here and defend himself. I don't want to be one of those people who just bash people's name out there and say irresponsible things. They can come here and defend themselves. But from all the evidence and all the research and all the information that we've gathered, that is what happened. So in the case, it's unfortunate that you see strong freedom fighters. These are men that will be admired by the American government. These are men that will be admired by the United States if they understand what these men stand for, if they understand freedom, what they fight for. These are men that will be hailed by that jury if they truly understand what these guys stand for. But today, they are on the other side fighting for their freedom in the name of a guilty plea. What a shame.
Is there a chance for an appeal? Are they going to take appeal?
Yes, they're going to take appeal. Definitely, we're going to go through appeal. The battle is not over. It is not over at all. We're going to take an appeal, and we're also going to go.
Are the facts not stacked against them, considering that one of them, Claude Chi, pleaded guilty, and he was then used as a witness by the defense against the rest of the two defendants? With him pleading guilty, doesn't that make an appeal impossible?
No, Mr. Chris, it's just like, just take for example, when you go to jail, there are a lot of prisoners who will say anything to get away, okay, to free themselves. So Claude is under duress, and that guilty plea that that is saying that it is not coming from him, you know. That is why a lot of people around are not as angry as they're not deadly angry towards Claude as much as they think. The Ambazonians are reasonable enough to understand the situation what he's going through. Because on the standard of what we have been going through, he would have been termed a black leg. Okay, yes, I know what that means. But
Yeah.
Claude is under duress, yes, under duress. And this Kansas, I mean, for them to use Claude as their star winning all that kind of stuff, this shows how much little, with no disrespect to the work that the FBI people do, but this the people who are prosecuting the case, their insight, they don't really have an insight. Come on, for Christ's sake. Listen, Mr. Chris, I want the American public to know, everybody in America to know today, all the people who are not part of Southern Cameroon, people who are watching from the outside, I want to give them a clear analogy of what this case is, of what has just happened here. Just imagine that a group, about 100 girls, were kidnapped and taken to somewhere across some part of Southeast Asia or whatever, wherever you want to, Mexico or whatever. Just say that they were kidnapped in foreign land, and they were being raped there for many years, raped there for 9 years. And then some of those girls now struggle and escape and come now to the other side of the eye in the United States here. And then one of those pimps now there follow them now and lobby the prosecutors around here that this girl that was working prostitution with me, this girl, she's owing me some money. She laundered money, she was doing prostitution. And then now the government now comes and arrests these females and then charge them again now with prostitution, providing support for prostitution across the aisle, or with more cases. So in effect, the government, the prosecutor, they come and victimize the victims again, prosecute the victims. That is exactly what is going in here. That is the insight. And I know this misconception about who these guys are is because of Bobia and his lobbies across the United States here, which they have been doing for so many years. They have lobbies in different corridors, trying to change the context and the perception of what is really happening. But I trust in the American system. I think that the Americans are very, very smart. I've been living here for a long time. I understand that the system is built to autocorrect, and the good men and good women of FBI at the federal level and all the court system, and even in the current administration, will look at this thing and say, no, this is not right. This is not what these laws were created for. These laws were not created to promote dictatorship and killing and more mass killing and atrocity of innocent people around the world. So, just in conclusion, the third part of this trial going wrong, like I just said, is because of that mishandling of that case. So, you see, the jurors, they came out with that verdict, but it's based on the limited information they know. It's based on the withholding that they know. So, what is going here, Mr. Chris? Why is all these so many loopholes? I think there's a bigger picture on this thing. There might be the worst coming to La République du Cameroon, because it's like a think tank. We were showing that the Americans, they are trying to play fair, or the international organization, they are trying to play fair. They make sure that one or two people who are doing something that they think that is incorrect, they want to make sure that they hammer the La République regime on the other side very very fairly and necessarily. Because what is happening in the Cameroons, Southern Cameroon, even Liberia, what is happening in the Cameroons, there is no Westerner with their real mind, even with their interests. I think that the atrocities and the human rights violation and all that is happening is just way above, is far beyond Western principles, and it cannot be tolerated. And Lord and behold, when will the American people know about it? Because when the people of the country know about it, these leaders playing think tank and prosecutors playing these political games there, they're just going to back down. Just like what happened in the Vietnam War when Muhammad Ali was released after Martin Luther King, when the population realized what was going on with Mandela and all those people, when the ordinary person in the street will understand what is happening, this will just dissolve into the thin air.
All right. Comrade, stay in there. Let me get to my next talking point, and after that, I will bring in Patrick, Chairman Patrick, who is also joining the panel. I will take a brief break out, and when I come back, I will bring you my talking point on this, on the subject of the trials emerging out from Kansas City, Missouri. Please stay put.
Are you ready to unlock the power of AI? Mastering AI Tools, a practical guide to ChatGPT and OpenAI, is your ultimate gateway course to harnessing AI in your career or studies. Provided by Pascal Presentations LLC, a trusted name in cutting-edge education, this course empowers you with the skills needed to navigate and utilize AI effectively. Whether you're a professional looking to boost productivity, a student wanting to stay ahead, or an everyday person trying to upgrade your knowledge on this transformative technology, this course gives you hands-on experience and practical tools to make AI work for you. Don't wait for the future. Start mastering it today. Enroll now with Pascal Presentations LLC and take the first step towards transforming your potential with AI.
All right, thank you for staying put, ladies and gentlemen. Again, at this moment, I take you to my monologue on the Kansas City convictions. 3 Amazonians were convicted last Monday in that city. Freedom involves uncertain sacrifice. That was always been the unwritten. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. An error here. Let the technicians get this right. Let the technicians get this right. All right. I hope this is good enough. All right. Freedom involves uncertain sacrifice. That has always been the unwritten law of oppressed peoples. The chains never fall off easily. Liberation never arrives on soft pillows. And today, as we confront the convictions of the so-called Kansas 3, sons of Amazonia, men who believed they were fighting for the freedom of a people, broken by decades of persecution, we must pause and ask ourselves, as well as the world, what is the message behind all this? Because tonight I want to speak with a heavy heart, but not a defeated one. I want to speak with clarity, but also with righteous indignation. And above all, I want to speak with truth, for truth is the only weapon left to the downtrodden when the world begins to retreat from its own moral obligations. But first things first, ladies and gentlemen, kidnapping is wrong. Ransom taking is wrong. Money laundering is illegal too. I have condemned these acts repeatedly on this platform in the case of our struggle, consistently, publicly, without wavering. Our people's liberation must never be built on the suffering of other innocent people, no matter how just the cause may be. Violence against innocence can never be excused. Yet after we have condemned these acts, and we must also confront a painful contradiction the world seems blind to. These men, these comrades now convicted in the United States, are known back home in Amazonia, not as criminals, not as felons, but as freedom fighters. They did not pocket money. They did not buy luxury. They did not build mansions or run nightclubs or open trucking companies with the proceeds. No. According to their own indictment, they transmitted those funds to fighters on the ground who believed they were fighting to defend their villages, their neighborhoods, their children, and the millions of Southern Cameroonians who have lived under brutal military occupation since 1961, ladies and gentlemen, since 1961. And so I ask tonight, with the deepest respect, but with burning sincerity, if America, the very nation that has sanctioned Cameroon for atrocities in this same conflict, would convict the very people who believe they were resisting that atrocity, then, which country on earth is left to defend the downtrodden? If America, the world's loudest defender of freedom and human rights, the traditional bastion for liberation movements across the globe, would ignore the suffering of millions of Amazonians and focus only on the unfortunate methods used by a few desperate actors, then, ladies and gentlemen, who is left to stand with the poor? Who is left to protect the oppressed? Where is the refuge for the freedom fighter? Where is it? In America. Because let us not forget, not today, not tomorrow, not ever, that many nations fighting for independence once raised funds in America, gathered support in Europe, and organized liberation and resistance campaigns right from Western capitals or Western soils. We've seen that again and again. The Irish did it. Israel did it. The ANC did it. The Eritreans did it. South Sudan did it too. Even the very American Revolution itself was funded in part by external support, external fundraising, and external alliances. And when these movements raise money, they use it to support their fighters, their defenders, their men and women on the front lines who believe that liberty was worth a price, worth public shame, worth international misunderstanding, and even worth imprisonment. So why is Amazonia the exception? Why is Africa always the exception, ladies and gentlemen? Why is it that Western nations consistently encourage Africans to resist bad governance, to fight corruption, to challenge dictatorships? Yet, when Africans actually rise up and begin the messy, painful, imperfect work of self-liberation, the same West rushes to tie their hands behind their backs. Why must Africans be the only people on earth expected to win freedom without first stumbling in the mud, without enduring mistakes, without passing through the fire? And let me tell you tonight, this isn't just about the Kansas tree. This is personal to me, very, very personal. Because on the same day, November 28, 2022, the same day these men were arrested and paraded before the world, my own name was on that list. Yes, my name was on the list. That morning, a Monday, I will never forget. a joint raid team of the FBI, Homeland Security, ICE, and the Boston Police, I was told, descended upon my home here in Houston, Texas. They executed a full search warrant. They combed through everything, every corner, my drawers, my files, my books, my documents, my studio equipment, my computers, even my closets, looking for anything that could implicate me or place me in the same work they had cast over Ambazonian activists. For 3 hours, they searched every inch of my residence. When they left, they carried away 32 items belonging to me, talking about documents, devices, personal materials, professional equipment. 3 years have now passed, ladies and gentlemen. Not a single item has been returned. Not a single explanation has been offered either. And not a single update has been given. Yet, each time I have had to travel out of the United States, I am flagged for special screening. Why? Why? Because I dared to speak for my people. Because I dared to raise my voice. Because I refused to be silent while Cameroon slaughtered the innocent in my country. That is the price I have paid and continue to pay for believing in Ambazonia's liberation. So when I speak of sacrifice, I speak not from theory, but from experience. Freedom involves uncertain sacrifice, and often it involves sacrifices you never imagined, sacrifices you never planned for, sacrifices that change the trajectory of your life. And so today, as these 3 Ambazonian sons stand convicted in Kansas City, we must ask the United States government, respectfully but firmly too, to temper mercy with justice, to recognize the suffering of millions of southern Cameroonians and Ambazonians, to acknowledge the desperation of a people abandoned by the world, to understand that these men acted wrongly, yes, but not for personal gain or personal enrichment. They acted believing they were supporting a freedom cause, a freedom struggle. I call on the U.S. State Department and the Department of Justice to intervene, to make representations, to advise the court, to signal that justice must also consider context, history, and human suffering. These men have already spent substantial time behind bars. Their families have suffered. Their communities have suffered. And we ask, plead for minimum sentencing, for clemency, and for mercy. But let me also speak to the Ambazonian diaspora directly. Every one of you listening to the sound of my voice. My people, listen carefully, carefully. Do not be discouraged. Do not retreat. Do not tremble, for this is part of the cause. The chains of freedom are heavy. They cut before they release. Ask Nelson Mandela. Ask Walter Sisulu. Ask Steve Biko. Ask the Irish hunger strikers. Ask the Eritrean fighters. If they had pulled back because of arrest or trials or imprisonment, their nations would still be enslaved. Freedom movements around the world have always passed through valleys of fear, valleys of confusion and suffering before reaching the mountaintop. The Kansas Three are now part of that painful but historic road. Their story, ladies and gentlemen, must not petrify the diaspora. It must instead energize the diaspora. It must awaken the courage we sometimes forget we possess. It must remind us that liberation is not a spectator sport. It demands action, resilience, sacrifice, and unity. If anything, their conviction is a signal, a rallying cry to support the struggle more fiercely, more boldly, more intelligently, and more responsibly than ever before. Because Amazonia will be free. Not because America says so. Not because Europe approves of it. Not because Cameroon agrees. But because the soul of a people yearning to breathe free cannot be imprisoned forever. Our sacrifices must be uncertain. Our sacrifices may be uncertain, but our destiny is not. Freedom is coming, and when it arrives, history will remember not the fear, not the intimidation, not the trials, but the courage of those who stood firm when the world looked away. And that is my monologue for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get back to my panel. Comrades, again, I am really, I think you could tell this is quite moving here. What is going on here? I see the hands of Cameroon behind what happened in Kansas City. And as I said, they came for me the same day. 3 years passed. I have not heard anything. I have been back to their office, not one time, not two times. I even hired a lawyer to confront them for a return of the items taken away from my home. And all I hear is, we don't know the case manager in charge and blah, 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 for 3 years. And yet, I have traveled out of the country on a number of occasions, and on returning, my phones are confiscated, my phones are taken away. I can see some of those black legs and lackeys and cronies in La République du Cameroon rejoicing over this. But let me tell you, we will we will have the last laugh. Yes. We will have the last laugh. And so let me go to Patrick, please. You've been sitting in there for a while. Give me your take, sir, on what you see happening in the Missouri City, sir. Your microphone is not turned on. Your microphone is still not on. Adjust your microphone. Let me okay, try that. Yes.
Yes, Comrade Chris, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
All right. Thank you again for bringing me up on this momentous day in the life of the Amazonian struggle. And as you can see, when we talk about a united people, when we talk about people coming together to fight a common fight, these are the moments that every Amazonian who was thinking they can do things on their own, who are not willing to join their brothers, this is the moment they have to start reflecting on this. These are our brothers. I'll call them our brothers. They came out to fight. When the people of Southern Cameroon are being slaughtered. The world, they look the left side. But because these brothers came out and said, my brother will not die in my face, my relatives will not be killed when I'm sitting here in the United States and other parts of the world just not doing anything about it. Today, the lobbyist, the La Republique machine that has put money together to create this kind of atmosphere where they want to put fear in the minds of Amazonians so that they do not support their brothers on the ground who are being killed on a daily basis. I believe our brother who came up and talked about the evidence, if anybody can watch and see what happened in Garbo, look at what happened in Bali, look at what happened in Kwakwa and all these areas, you will have to question yourself as a human being. How can I see other people being slaughtered? And I talked about the defenders being terrorists. But on the other hand, we have to look at what financial dealings these our brothers made, or if they encourage certain aspects of this revolution that we have all been talking against. Kidnapping, ransom taking was not the mission of Amazonians. And if those things were involved, and they were involved fully to say somebody should be kidnapped, somebody should go through pain, or an Amazonian can go through pain because of this struggle, or asking fighters on the ground to increase pain on other people, then that is when the United States have a case to talk to them about. But on the other hand, these guys were fighting a genuine fight. They want to see their brothers and sisters come out victorious because they are being slaughtered. The world today is laughing. The world today is watching what is going on in La Republique. The world have seen that a 93-year-old individual who does not know what is going on in that country has been captured by a certain group of people, and they are acting like he is a president. Living abroad, seeing 93-year-old people, looking at the elections that happened, how can somebody with their right mind even think that these people do not have the right to defend their people on the ground, to fight for their people? But if they had broken any laws when it comes to money laundering, kidnapping, torture, or any of those things, then the United States have the right to talk about it and use the Justice Department to investigate appropriately how this came about. But if there were steps that were missed, we know the American justice system is a free and fair system where they are going to look at every evidence. When these guys go back for their appeals, they will look into it. We know the American justice system is fair and they do not support injustice in any way. Thank you, Comrade Chris.
Let me bring Pascal back in to give me your thought on the monologue I just made out there, if I got anything wrong.
No, Secretary Chris, your monologue is fair. I really like the part that you hammered on our people of Southern Cameroon themselves and the people who are prosecuting this liberation movement across the world. You used one word there that I really picked, and I'm very excited to use it. Responsibly. Okay? The people need to be energized. The people need to be motivated. This is not time to fall back and be afraid. This is not time to say, oh, I'm going to go to jail. This is not time to say, oh, they're gonna lock me up. Oh, I'm going to die. I'm going to fear. The only thing we should fear is fear itself. Said President Roosevelt in 1941 when America joined World War II. after the Japanese struck Pearl Harbor on December 7, Sunday 7 a.m., December 7, 1941, the United States entered World War II. And the leader, the president, FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, he said that the only thing we must fear was fear itself. And do you know why he said that? Because the Nazi regime had the best military in the world. Hitler has the Luftwaffes, the German, the Stuka divers, and they were taking over Europe. They were crushing every country there. And the average American was in a little bit doubt if they can really fight this man. But the leader told them the only thing you must fear is fear itself. So that is, don't allow yourself to be occupied by fear. Every country there. And
yeah, go on, please. Sorry about it.
Yeah, don't allow yourself to be occupied by fear. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid of death. Do not be afraid of persecution. Do not be afraid of prosecution. Do not be afraid of oppression. And do not be afraid of jail. And do not be afraid of, most importantly, death on time 7. So, the people mustered courage there. Every single mother, this is what I love about America and I'm proud of it. Every single mother, parent in the United States told their son, if you don't go to that war, I may disown you. I have a friend who was a security officer when I used to be a security officer, who even said that his mother pressured him that if he does not go to the war, but this was Vietnam War, if he did not go to the war, he's going to disown him. So every Southern Cameroon mother, relieve your son and daughter, put courage in them. Stop that language of, oh, when I fear opobia, this and that. When you get rid of fear, that is when the oppressor can never oppress you anymore again. The black people in the United States, with a group of white folks and some Jewish community, that when they're supporting the black people to fight for their civil rights, those people that were marching on that day, they said Martin Luther King, in the words of Martin Luther King, they got rid of the fear. They said they would rather go to jail or they would die. When you develop that, they didn't have guns. These people didn't have guns. They didn't have machetes. They didn't have IEDs. They didn't have all those things. They just got rid of their fears, and the oppressor could not do anything anymore. So you are right to also speak in my terms that now it's time to double your. You said probably double your effort. Me, I said multiply your effort 10 times. Whatever you're doing, do it 10 times right now. Don't let anybody slow you down. But I also go back to your point that I said I really like, the fact that you say responsibly. We must do things responsibly. This is how we got into this mess. Because of corruption, corruption is something that I'm so happy I left that country at an early age, otherwise I would have died, because there's nothing in this world that I hate as much as corruption. So we must do things responsibly, work within the law, don't punish other people for other people's crime, which is a behavior the young people in that region of the world are learning from the Cameroon government itself. Because we know that countless times the military, Cameroon military goes in there and holds people's parents, kidnap. We have a pregnant woman, a woman right now is in jail in Gokotunja with I think they say 6 months old baby or something like that. Yes. So that is the whole parents, the whole relatives, you can commit a crime and then they come and hold your relative. And now I'm talking to the outside population, the people who don't know what is happening in the international community. So what this government does is that they send military personnel, they kidnap, I won't use the word arrest, they kidnap families whose sons are liberation fighters. Some of them are killed, some of them are pregnant. These are women. They have a lot of women one time in jails in Babenda right there, because their boyfriend or husband or brother or something was standing against the Cameroon military and all those things. So these are learned behaviors. You would never see that the average American male support this kind of thing, or American female, average American Westerner support this kind of thing, because their government do not encourage these things. The people that are leading them do not encourage these things. So it's come from the leadership, which is what is killing a lot of the nations down there in Africa. So you are right. You have to prosecute this thing with responsibility. If you look at the people that the foreign government have picked up from Ayabacho to some people, there can be an argument made against them. Though these ones, there can be some argument made against them. So we have to be responsible in the way we go about fighting for our freedom too. We don't need to torture people. Yes, and speaking on this about being responsible, the apprehension of that phone, of that below that phone and that to me, that was not kidnapped. That was not kidnapped. These men were coming to that territory, and we know that the military has the Cameroon military, the genocidal Cameroon military has a record of working with authoritative figures to penetrate into different corners of the communities and do the atrocities that they were doing. So that's why these people were held and interviewed and then let go. But somehow Nicodemously term it as kidnap. But when the military does it, which they do it all the time, they say an arrest. And they do it, and you can say that they had the authority to apprehend people sometimes. But what about when they do it when there's no warrant, it's just against the law at random with no probable cause and all those kind of stuff. We see it all the time. So I think you spoke well, Mr. Chris, and I liked how you also talk about responsibility, because personal responsibility is very important. We can sit here and point fingers at the United States, point fingers at the black man, point fingers at the white man, point finger at the Asian man, point finger at the Chinese, point finger at the French people, or the France or whatever. But we have to be personally responsible in the way we execute our doings. We have to, the word we use, the way we address people, the actions that we take, the legality, the laws, the fairness, the thought process, the money collection, we have to apply all this kind of thing. With that said, I'll yield.
Chairman Patrick, before we open the phone lines, what lesson do you think this sends to Ambazonians, not in the leadership, but I mean the regular Ambazonian? Don't you see some discouragement here?
Secretary Chris, I don't see any discouragement. One thing I'm going to tell you, the Ambazonian revolution did not start from the diaspora. The people on the ground, even if today we carry that nobody in the diaspora is communicating with anybody on the ground, those fighters on the ground who started the revolution in the first place, they are going to fight until the Republic is out of that territory. What the diaspora has done was just a supplemental assistance because they saw what the government of Cameroon was doing to their people. So the people in the diaspora, I will say it in this way, for the past 9 years, the revolution has evolved in so many different angles. Some people took this revolution as a way for them to make money. Some people took it as a way to settle scores on the ground. Some people took it as a way to position themselves as leaders or one of those dictators that Africa is fighting against. But the people that came into this revolution as selfless servants of the people, they are going to keep fighting. And they're going to fight responsibly, as you just said. Everybody knows if you came into this revolution, you do not have any personal gain. You are going to do the right thing. Some people have mistakenly gotten themselves involved with others because of the wrongdoings that they came into this revolution for. So the people of Amazonia are determined. No matter what happens, they have said until the last man standing. And the last man standing might be a fighter on the ground that will keep fighting until this revolution is over. The government of La Republic has demonstrated to the world, not just to the Amazonian people or to their own citizens, that they are incompetent. If you look at how they solve their own problems, their problem is, even if there is the smallest issue in their country, like what happened with the truckers, what happened with the bikers in Douala today, is only false. They lost an election, clear, They lost an elections. But what they did is they harassed the people, they have captured the minds, they have intimidated the Cameroonian population to submission. But I'll tell you, even Louis XVI of France, when he was the leader of France, he knew that he was untouchable, but he fell. He fell because the people are going to get to that point where they will not be able to tolerate this nonsense. The reality here is they're Amazonians. Some of them have given up their life and said, whatever happens, we're going to see our people liberated. And in that case, most people do not even want to be dead. They don't even want to go back and take any jobs. They are doing it because they see the suffering of their own people. They see what is going on with the lives of their people. So if anybody can sit back and say this is going to put any dent on the Amazonian revolution, no, this is a joke because Amazonians are determined. Even if today they stop talking in the diaspora, the guys on the ground have already put themselves together. And that is one of the reasons that Amazonia in the diaspora, if they fortify themselves in a unitary position, nobody can get in there and get anybody out because we will all fight. Legally, we have everybody is a legal-minded Amazonian who is responsible for their own destiny, and they will see that we are fighting to the last man standing.
All right, comrades,
Chris,
guys, you guys stay put in there. We're going to open the phone lines at this moment, but before we do that, we will take a brief break out. And when I come back, we will open the phone lines to.
Comrade Chris, it seems like Comrade Bobby was trying to say something.
Okay, go on, please.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I was going to say this, that I know this may sound conclusive, but it's not. I was going to say that I want the lawmakers, the powers that be, the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, to understand that the people of Southern Cameroon are friends of America. The people of Southern Cameroon, the people of Southern Cameroon, they are not some nations that hate America, that express derogatory terms towards America, this and that. The people of Southern Cameroon love America and we speak the same language. So it is very easy. It is of America's interest to see that we get our freedom. It's America's interest to see that these people, they get their freedom, Southern Cameroon is in the Gulf of Guinea. That's a strategic place for different activities, with the United States, their involvement with China, France, and other kind of different nations. Also to France, especially to Mr. Macron, talk to the Southern Cameroonians. Stop the dealings with Paul Biya. If you have France have interest in the Southern Cameroons everywhere, come and work with us. Call me, come and work with me even. I can go that far. Let's work together and do it the right way. Don't come after 10, 15 years and start apologizing that, we are sorry that the genocide that we committed, you Rwandans, we are sorry that we did this to Patrice Lumumba, or Belgium say we are sorry that we did this and that. Don't come after the market and start making these empty apologies and creating anti-France sentiment all around the region. If you want to play diplomacy and keep France in a positive note on that region, come and work with the Amazonian people. We can protect their interest in the Southern Cameroon while we manage our country, and we are open to work with all other nations. But don't hide behind this dictator Paul Biya and this bunch of backward leadership that they are only going backward, that they cannot even do things even to make the French people even benefit the most. We can help you benefit the most from that region while also taking our nation and protecting our own interests. But don't keep on supporting a man like this. Don't keep on supporting a regime like this. This is why France is losing all its territory all around there, this and that. Again, talk to the Amazonian leaders and even talk to myself. Let's get this ball going. And to all the Americans, again, Amazonia is your friends. We know we are the minority end. You are at the other end with much resources. Maybe we need your friendship more, but at the end of the day, you still need us in that region for collaboration in many, many things. That's just the point I want to make. All this geopolitical gymnastics, putting innocent people in jail for no reason. Frank is there. Frank has about 9 children. Who's going to be taking care of those children? Langmi is there here about 4 children. His wife is there by himself. Claude has a less than, I think, an 8 months old when 6 months old, 8 months old when he was picked up. What becomes of these children? Is that all worthy? Don't we hear that every single child's life matters? So let's stop this political gymnastics. Let's do the right thing. And that is why some of us are in here. We have come out here to speak up like this. And for the people of Southern Cameroon, take a look in my eyes. Now it's time to rise up. Now it's time to come out from your sharehold. Now it's time to stop discouraging people who want to come out and stand in front of this fight. Now it's time to stop discouraging people in your WhatsApp forum, in your privacy of your home, in your work, on your phone call, that not say anything and not rise up. Stop all those things. Now it's time to rise up. This is the push button. This decision is the button that ignites all that awakening in you. Now it's time to tell people in your cultural group meeting in the diaspora, be United States, Europe, around the world, that no, we have to speak up on this issue. Now it's time to tell everyone that it is okay and appropriate to stand in your cultural meeting and speak up on this issue and rise up at one, so that we can stop the killings, so that we can stop the innocent people going to jail, so that evil should not be ruling a people of the Cameroons, both in Ambazonia and in the Cameroons. Thank you for that opportunity, Mr. Chris.
All right. You guys stay in there if you can. We will take a brief break out. And when I come back, I will open the phone lines to hear from our audience. Stay put, please.
Support ABS Africa TV, empower African voices, and change the narrative. For far too long, Africa's stories have been told by others, through lenses tinted by the agendas of legacy media, often funded by Western interests. These narratives have painted a skewed picture of a continent brimming with resilience, innovation, and untold potential. But now it's time for change. It's time for Africans to tell their own stories. At Africa Broadcasting Service (ABS), we are on a mission to redefine how Africa is reported. But this mission is not something we can achieve alone. We urgently need your help. Our vision is clear: to hire and train a new generation of community reporters and citizen journalists who will capture the pulse of Africa, reporting on the issues that matter most, from human rights and good governance to climate change and environmental justice. Armed with nothing more than smartphones and their untamed determination, these reporters will uncover the stories that legacy media too often ignore. We need to provide training and equipment to these storytellers so they can report on Africa as it truly is. We cannot do it without you. Your donation, whether big or small, will help us give Africa's unsung heroes the voice they deserve. Together, we can disrupt the old narratives, challenge stereotypes, and paint a truer, richer picture of Africa. This is more than just supporting journalism. It's about empowering a continent. It's about justice. It's about truth. Together, let's tell Africa's story. Please join our GoFundMe and donate now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to open the phone lines and allow you, the listeners, to call in and make your contributions from what you have learned tonight. The phone line is right there on your screen, and remember that when you called, before you called, make sure that the volume of your television set is turned down before you call. Turn down the volume of your television set before you go ahead and call. Again, the phone line is right there on screen, open for you to call and make a contribution to what you've been learning tonight. Okay, and while we wait for your phone calls, let me go back to my panel and ask if Patrick is still there. If Patrick is still there, Okay. Uh, One of the problems we have in the Amazonian struggle is the problem in leadership. Uh, you have these three guys who supposedly were being backed by Sako. Now they are picked up, locked up in jail, and you have a few people supporting their legal fund because to others, they belong to that other group, they belong to that other team. This is one of the reasons why there is a need. There is a need for everybody to regather. Am I wrong?
Comrade Chris, you are right. You are right. I believe that if all Amazonians were out there canvassing funds for this legal fund, the story would have been different. Equally as if Amazonians had come together and said the case is on the 1st of December or whatever day, and you had 3,000 Amazonians, 1,000 Amazonians in front of that court to witness what was going on in that court, the story would have been different. Because what my comrade here said was the judge refused certain evidence. And what was that about? They just wanted to make sure they do not expose La Republique. The so-called people that had been working behind the scene, like all the lobbyists that maybe La Republique had sponsored to facilitate this case, must have talked with the judge or whoever was working on this case to make sure they do not come out with any evidence that will expose La Republique. I listened to a few people last Saturday about what La Republique fear most, their image. They do not like their image to be tarnished out there. But they are doing the same thing that even if anybody is blind, you even hear people talking about it. They are the ones that are exposing themselves. They have conducted an elections that the world is laughing. That are they human beings living in that country? And I would say one of the things that has really baffled me is the military in Cameroon. I believe that every military in every country is standing for the constitution of that country and the people, not for individuals. So if we can see what has been going on in La Republique, I just doubt. And that is one of the reasons that they have made sure they recruit just a certain tribe into the military so that they can defend their tribal clansmen. I even saw today they were using their local juju just to make sure some ministers cutting the head of a chicken just to make sure they can drink the blood so that they stay in power. So those are the things that La Republic has become. That is not a country anybody can respect. But the lobbyists who are making their money will do whatever it takes. But the Amazonians should all reflect on the unity that everybody has been yearning for. This is the moment. I don't believe there is any Amazonian in this diaspora that would not have chipped in if they had that opportunity to make sure these our brothers are not languishing on our behalf out there. So anybody that is still holding a segment of people out there and say, "Oh, this is my clan, these are my own people," you are not doing the right thing for the Amazonian revolution. We want everybody to be together so that we can all fight whatever comes our way as a united people responsibly.
Pascal, please, your thought on that.
No, you guys have said it all. Unity is very, very important. Um, I think what will facilitate unity in this movement and to stop all these things so that I want people to understand that this thing needs to stop. This fighting, this killing, and this corruption in La République du Cameroun need to stop. The people of the Cameroons, Ambazonia and La République du Cameroun, if I may speak, if I may include them there, they need to focus on building, especially Ambazonia, they need to focus on building roads, building subways, building universities, transporting dialysis machine there because a lot of people, they have high blood pressure, they have kidney failures. They need to import robotic technology there for easily operation. We need to focus on those things that increase human life instead of all this corruption and all these things. So with that said, understanding that we have more important things to focus on, let's come together and get the job done faster so that we can focus on what is very, very more important. There are some people, like you rightly said earlier, Patrick, that some people came to this fight or to this movement because of their personal interest, money. They thought that they're going to be ministers. They thought that they're going to be this. Some people, they stole from La Republique themselves, and they are trying to fight their way back into the country for many, many reasons. So now all these things is happening, they are falling off. Those are the people that will be falling off. The real people that are here to make things happen, they're gonna hang in there, but they have to come in unity. And like I said, Mr. Chris, I mentioned about use the word responsibility earlier. Responsible. I don't believe that it is enough to just sit on the side and ask people to come together, to unite. Yes, we have to drum that, but we also have to be, or the people have to be doing things to make people want to unite. You need to accomplish some things. You need to, what are they benefiting? Are they going to get more security? Are they going to learn something new? Is it going to be beneficiary to them? How is it? The word is interest. How is it of their interest besides just talking and all this kind of stuff? Let's do something, carry out a project, carry a successful diplomatic project, raise money and train international negotiators. Amazonians need to learn how to negotiate this treaty. I hear people say that, oh, at the negotiation table, we're going to bring experts and all those experts. Who are those experts? Patrick is here, is talking. You, Mr. Chris, you might be one of those experts who can even raise money and send it to New York City, have international diplomatic, you have private organizations that provide diplomatic courses, training programs, who can do something like that, train people on how to go about disrupting like to be activities. We can train 10 people by just raising maybe some amount of money. You know, these programs are within 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, even less even. We'll get people that way so that when people see some sense of progress, some sense of direction, then they want to unite. But if we keep on just saying that people should unite and all they have in their memory was when people came, somebody that stole money or somebody that came there and talked to them rudely and all those kind of stuff, when they hear that word, that unity, that is what their subconscious mind is telling. That's what their memory is telling, and that it means. So we need to give unity a different word in their minds, and then they will be more attracted to come together. But again, what you are doing is very correct. The people have to unite. There's no book in this world I've seen that have said that unity is bad. All the holy books say that. All the scientific books say that. All the historical books say that. And with a few
Common
exceptions,
sense.
I think that we should. I think yes, it's common sense. You know, humanity. I want to mention this. Humanity is not perfect. Okay, no matter the best system in the world will still have one exception. You know, there are times when people unite and things turn out bad, because when people unite together, sometimes they bring their different values, all those kind of stuff, and things go bad. But that is just like 1% of the time. You cannot use 1 or 5% deficiency and broadcast it, making like, oh, this is what's going to happen. Yeah, I hear people talk about this all the time. So we unite. None of the people unite. We know that's just very 1% of the time. There will always be that variation. Everything in life has some kind of variation, 1 to 5%, whatever. But you cannot use that and broadcast and make it their dominant opinion on how things are going to be. Mr. Chris, you are flying all around the world. You fly around the world in this movement. Anything can happen. The plane might not make it. You might have a crash. A terrorist might go in there, this and that. But that is 1 to 1% of the time. You don't sit back and say, no, I'm not going to fly because of that 1%. I might get because of that 1% discrepancy. This thing can happen to me. You cannot bang on that and dwell on that. That is failure in itself. That is not what this America that we live in teaches us. The American teaches us that you fail, you get up, you pick back yourself, and you always look at the bigger picture. And that is why the country is great and resilient. So let's focus on this aspect of unity. That's my opinion on that. Thank you.
All right. I'd like to thank all of you for being part of the show. In the absence of any calls coming in, we're going to call it, we're going to end it here for the night. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Comrade Chris. And let's know that Ambazonia is going to fight. Ambazonia should keep fighting, but fight responsibly.
All right. All right.
Likewise.
Thank you, Pascal. Thank you, Patrick. Let's see. Somebody is just calling right now. Where is that? Uh, hello. Hello.
Yes, Comrade Chris.
Hello.
This is Gerard. Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Savannah in Georgia.
Okay. And what is on your mind?
Yeah, thank you for your monologue. I listened to it, and thanks to your panelists. I just want to respond to your last panelist. I think he's talking about unity. And I listened to him earlier. He made mention of, I think, Ayabacho, that he might have done something or whatever. I just want to say that we need to be very, very careful when we all know that all this is politically motivated, and our messaging is very important. Even if we have issues, this is not the time. All these factions, and if Ayabacho is held accountable, they're going to hold the same guys accountable, okay? Because we're the same people. We have a common enemy. I just want to say that at this time, let's focus on the enemy, and we can solve our issues later on. For instance, we all know, somebody made mention there earlier, I think he's the same person that said it, that they are using their lobbying firms, and that's exactly what they are doing. Cleaning their name in DC, and they are the ones that are sponsoring these investigations with Nsila as the head. Since we know all this, I think one of the things that we need to do is identify these firms. We need to identify these lobby firms and put them out there. Even if they're
Yeah, I
not to the
mean,
court,
that doesn't change anything. Those lobby firms have been put out there. What we are not doing, what Ambazonians are not doing, is they are not rallying behind their leaders or their people who are picked up. For example, you have 3 Ambazonians picked up in Missouri, put before trial, and how many Ambazonians contributed to see that they have the best of lawyers? How many?
I agree with you, and the reason he made mention, which is true, because sometimes too, because of the embezzlement, people lose trust. There is donor fatigue and all that. That has contributed too. But again, we will not stop because of that. So, and that's just what I want. That's my input. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you for the call. All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, in the absence of any other calls, we're going to call it here tonight. Thank you very much for tuning in. I look forward to coming back tomorrow to talk about the new trial starting in Yaoundé on December 19 of the Naira 10, talking about Sisiko, Ayoktabe, Tasangwa Ewifred, Pangong, Ngongo, and the rest. We're going to be talking about that tomorrow, so please stay tuned, and I get to go back tomorrow. Thank you and good night.
Thank you.
ABS can help you reach your target audience like never before. Advertising on ABS, you'll benefit from our extensive reach and dedicated viewership. We offer special advertising packages during primetime slots and popular shows. You'll also be featured on our social media platforms, reaching an even wider audience. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Take your business to the next level. Contact our advertising team at absafricativ@gmail.com. ABS can help you reach your target audience like never before. Advertising on ABS, you'll benefit from our extensive reach and dedicated viewership. We offer special advertising packages during primetime slots and popular shows. You'll also be featured on our social media platforms, reaching an even wider audience. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Take your business to the next level. Contact our advertising team at absafricativ@gmail.com. ABS can help you reach your target audience like never before. Advertising on ABS, you'll benefit from our extensive reach and dedicated viewership. We offer special advertising packages during primetime slots and popular shows. You'll also be featured on our social media platforms, reaching an even wider audience. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Take your business to the next level.
Are you ready to unlock the power of AI? Mastering AI Tools, a practical guide to ChatGPT and OpenAI, is your ultimate gateway course to harnessing AI in your career or studies. Provided by Pascal Presentations LLC, a trusted name in cutting-edge education, this course empowers you with the skills needed to navigate and utilize AI effectively. Whether you're a professional looking to boost productivity, a student wanting to stay ahead, or an everyday person trying to upgrade your knowledge on this transformative technology, this course gives you hands-on experience and practical tools to make AI work for you. Don't wait for the future. Start mastering it today. Enroll now with Pascal Presentations LLC and take the first step towards transforming your potential with AI.
Dennis Mata, Munaking Fanja, Usari Maribo. What's a seku, just a what up with? 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 That concept, Grandago, Mukuba, Batera, Mechi, Away, Peter, Eno, Ancient Driver, Murukwa, Aquaticaba, a young Atem, Wongano, Aquaticaba, a Remoni, Wongano, Tonkan Batam, Aquaticaba, a Tigan Swadi, Wongano, Muruba, Send it, I'm in the UK, man, Benevan, Chinaman, Woman send it, he's some floppies. Nkene